I still can't believe ukuthi uyekile TS Galaxy and uyekiswe transport. Ayimbuzi. Yeah, I'm fanele ngikhulume nabe metro bangamove because mabanga transport izongishaya. Kaz Naidu, international cricket commentator. Kaz, who is Kwena Maphaka?
17 years old. Potentially, he could be in the T20 World Cup squad going to the United States. Come 2027, Kwena Maphaka with the new ball running in on South Africa's opening game at a World Cup hosted in South Africa.
Gee whiz, what do you even compensate with your peers about?
Well, I mean, you definitely still have a milkshake, right? Like after the game, you're like, oh, let's have a milkshake.
Is he going to order the milkshake or is he going to have the beer? What's going to happen?
I mean, listen, he's definitely ordering the milkshake and he's handing out numbers.
Sky is the limit, and you know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Game over.
Exactly 8 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM, coming straight after the hottest, drive time show in all of South Africa. I thought it couldn't get any hotter, but Lud Love said, hey, please hold my mic. She came on and, increased the heat in this Metro FM kitchen. Catch them again tomorrow between 3 and 6. It is the touchdown with Thibaut Touch and Lute Love. And the entire team right now, though, is Sports Night Amplified with Andile on the mighty Metro FM. I am Andile Ngube. Over the next hour, it has become quite a rivalry between Young Africans Soccer Club or Sports Club as well as Mamelodi Sundowns. It started over the weekend, 0-0 draw away in Tanzania. The club has arrived in South Africa. The president of the club will be joining us in a couple of seconds as we discuss all things from treatment in Tanzania to treatment here in South Africa and the game holistically. A man that recently took over Young Africans but seems to have done so much with the club, including finishing second in the Confederations Cup. He's going to be talking to us about being in South Africa, playing Sundowns, but football on the continent holistically, including that big talking point that my name arises every time we speak about it, free tickets at a stadium. We heard and we saw on Twitter, Young Africans had done the same. Sundowns has been doing it for a very long time. What is it about fans in this continent, perhaps, that we see a lot of this? What is the strategy behind it? Maybe I'll learn a thing or two, but maybe you will. So we'll be speaking to the president of Young Africans. They're taking your calls as well as your text as well. That's going to be on, let me just find it. Where is it now, Timmy? You see? All these papers here. There we go. 086 000 2160 is where you can call us, and 060 552 7303 for your WhatsApps. Look forward to your interaction there with you. We'll speak a little bit of rugby towards the end of the show as well. John Dobson and what he's got to do. I mean, when you look at what's going to be happening this weekend as far as the rugby is concerned, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a humdinger. South African teams, I think, doing well. Cape Regional Sports Editor at Independent Media, Ashak Muhammad, is going to be speaking to us about the Champions Cup round of 16. The stage is upon us, and the Stormers, the head coach, John Dobson, said that his side is preparing for a clash of test match intensity when they host the defending champions in La Rochelle in Cape Town this Saturday. A huge match this. An absolutely huge match that I can't wait to have a conversation on. It's 10 after the hour 6. It's a mighty Metro FM. When we come back, the president of Yanga, better known as the Young Africans, Andile Said.
Shop red and save green at Spar with Sweet Feaster savings this Easter. Get Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls, 18s for only $129.99, or 3 kg Sunlight hand washing powder for just $79.99. Price is valid from 25 March to 7 April. T's and C's apply.
We are born, and that's why we shop at Spar.
Saturday nights on S3 are about to get dramatic. Tune into The Player at 9:30 p.m. and catch Wesley Snipes as a pit boss as he and his team gamble on the ability of security expert Philip Winchester to stop some of the biggest crimes imaginable from playing out. Can he take them down from the inside and get revenge for the death of his wife? Or is it true what they say? The house always wins. Channel your best drama with The Player, Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. only on
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It's exactly 12 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. It is the biggest platform for all things sport this side of the equator, and we appreciate it whenever we get royalty that passes through here. Our conversation this evening starts off with engineer Hersi Said, the younger president, better known as Young Africans. They've arrived in South Africa for the CAF Champions League quarterfinal second leg to face Mamelodi Sundowns, coached by Rulani Mukwena. Of course, the Brazilians and Younger have put quite a feisty interaction, the two of them. It's become somewhat of a tale to say it's more than the 90 minutes, isn't it? It's the fans of the two sides. It's one team that says the other's bigger than them, but when you look at the footprint in terms of fans, it could be a little bit different. But to answer all those questions and have a conversation with us is the President. President, thanks so much for joining us and welcome. Oh, Timmy's going to have to get the President back on the line. We do seem to have a challenge there as far as that line is concerned. But I'm looking forward to having a conversation with them. The first thing, of course, we're going to get out the way is as soon as they landed. So how it works is the home team provides the accommodation and the transportation for the traveling team. So as soon as they arrived at the airport, there was the bus provided by Sundowns that got stuck 5 minutes outside the airport. Now, Sundowns, Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, Wits, and all these South African teams that have been a part of Champions League Confederations Cup for years, never have we ever heard of mistreatment of other teams. So I don't think, and I'd love to hear from the President, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the side of good here. I don't think it was purposely done. I think it was just a pure accident or malfunction of a bus here. I don't think any ill intent was intended as far as that is concerned. But we have the President now on the line. President, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. How are you, my brother?
I'm well, President. Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you so much. This is my second home.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
I feel at home.
Is that why you support the team? I heard you support a team from Soweto. Is that why?
Correct.
Listen.
Black and yellow.
Oh, black and yellow. Is that the one?
Amakosi.
Where does your affinity with Amakosi even come from?
Yeah. Sure.
Where does it come from, your support and love for Kaizer Chiefs? Where do you know the team from? Did you follow them in Tanzania growing up?
Yes, I did follow them. Actually, 2010 when I came here for the World Cup, it's the first kit that I bought from South Africa in relation to a football club.
Wow.
So for me, yeah. And Young Africans has black, yellow, and green. So and Kaizer Chiefs yellow and black. So it's my team. Actually, so this is the first thing that I love when I landed in South Africa in 2010 for the World Cup.
That's amazing,
and it was
President.
my first kit, like I said. Yeah.
President, speaking of landing, you guys landed. I just want to get this out of the way. You landed in South Africa. The reception was great when you landed. You got into your bus, and we're hearing that 5 minutes later, we're seeing the pictures. The bus had some issues, some challenges that you got stuck.
Yes, correct. Exactly from the airport, everything was fine. We're very thankful for, number one, our hosts, Mamelodi Sundowns, but also the Embassy of Tanzania in South Africa. They did amazing work. Everything was perfect. We never had any hiccups at the airport when it comes to customs or immigration. And then as soon as we get out of the airport, everything was fine. There were buses in place and all the transport. But 5 minutes later, when we left the airport, the bus had a technical problem, and the driver has to pull it to the station next to the road. So, the only problem is it's a technical thing, but the only problem is my players we left Dar es Salaam actually early morning. The flight was at 7, so we're supposed to be at the airport around 5 in the morning. And, commuting to the airport, we were supposed to be, coming from home around 4. So it's an early flight, and it took us to the afternoon when we landed here. So everyone was exhausted, and, having this technical problem from the bus was, frustrating everyone. But we had to communicate with Mamelodi Sundowns, and they were so disappointed as well because it's a rental bus, and they had to do some maneuvering to get a replacement. But we managed to get small cars from the embassy that took our players to the hotel in Pretoria. So that's exactly what happened. And I spoke to Yogesh, and he was so disappointed with what happened, and they apologized, and it's football. So we apology accepted, and we move ahead to the encounter on Friday.
And that's what I wanted to get out the way, President, to say, you're not sitting there with your team and thinking that this was something done intentionally in order to show you almost a hostile reception. You truly do believe that it was a malfunction of the bus and that Mamelodi Sundowns had no intentions to do that to you.
100%. I know Mamelodi Sundowns is the biggest team in Africa. We have a lot of respect for them. I don't think if they can do this cheap politics. To me, this is not something that they've done purposely to disturb us. No, it's a function of the car, and it's something that, like I said, it's a technical problem which I don't think if they encountered when they were taking the bus. So rest assured, I am very positive with the reception of Mamelodi Sundowns. I've got a very good relation with the leaders of the club, as well as some operational leaders, Yogesh and the rest. So I'm happy with that. They call me and they apologize, and we move ahead. It's not a problem.
Well, let's do that moving ahead, President. You guys are here a little bit earlier. Sundowns are playing today. I mean, they're the only team in the CAF Champions League that remains that is playing a match just shortly after having played you guys. They are playing again on Friday. They're playing again today. You are resting, Simba are resting, Alakli are resting. All these teams are resting, but they are out again. You here a little bit early so you can catch their match again. I hear you're going to be on the way to the stadium to watch them.
Yeah, I am going to watch the game. It's something that is very, very, very understandable. Taking into consideration Mamelodi Sundowns are the champions of South Africa. They have to participate in CAF Champions League. At the same time, you have your local tournament. But remember, at the same time, Mamelodi Sundowns was the only club from South Africa who played for AFL. So, to be honest, they had a number of games to play more than any team here. So, and we want to close the league. I know there's one game which is also pending, one round actually for the PSL, which is also pending because of the fixtures of Sundowns. I totally understand that it's important for them to play their games. It's a big team, Mamelodi. They have a number of players who are top players compared to the other, other clubs that can say they have top quality players that they can play. It's the same scenario that we're facing in Tanzania. Sometimes we have a lot of games, and we have international games as well, but we have to consider the local. I can give you an example. Before we played Sundowns, we played Azam.
Yeah.
But in the week of Azam, a week before Azam, in a span of 8 days, we played 4 games, including 1 game away. We played on Friday against Namungo. We played on Tuesday against Geita. We played on Thursday, and then we played Sunday against Azam. So 4 games in 8 days. It's possible. If you're a top team in the league, you have to consider that sometimes the fixtures won't be fair to you. So I totally understand Mamelodi playing today, and they have to play the quarterfinal on Friday.
Let's reflect a little bit on the first leg. You were at home. A lot was expected from you. Your fans had come out in their numbers. When you look at that first leg game, 0-0 is how it ended. What is your reflection on it?
To be honest, it was a tough game. Tough game in every aspect. Tough game in terms of technical aspects, in terms of tactical aspects. our players did very well to contain the top team in Africa and get a draw at home. For me, it's a satisfying result. And we're very happy with what happened in Dar es Salaam. Now we're coming to South Africa. We want to make a statement, especially on our way game. We had some few chances in Dar es Salaam, and to be honest, if we could have managed to get either one or two goals, it could have been very difficult for Sundowns here. But we're going here to frustrate them. I'm telling you, we're here. We want to go to the semi-final, inshallah.
When you looked at your level versus theirs, I mean, you've said they're the top team. They've got some of the best players. Do you think you could cause that upset here? Do you think you could come away to Sundowns and steal it?
The chance is there. I respect Sundowns. It's the biggest team in Africa. If you ask me, number one team in Africa is Mamelodi Sundowns. If you ask me, number two team in Africa is Mamelodi Sundowns. There is no doubt about the quality of Sundowns. The technical staff, Rulani, it's my favorite. It's my favorite coach now. Him and Peter, actually, I've got two favorite African coaches in Africa, and both of them are from South Africa. And I'm very happy with his attitude and performance. So they have a better technical staff. They have the better players compared to any club in Africa. And we are young Africans. We are the biggest surprisers. We want to surprise them on Friday.
You speak about their top players. I was in Tanzania, President, I think sometime towards the end of last year, and I decided to go catch a game. I went to watch one of yours. For the first time, I'd heard about him. I got to see Stefan Aziz Ki. I got to see him play. I think he scored 2 goals in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought to myself, wow, what a talent. I mean, I followed him from then on. I think he was still 26, 27 at the moment. I think he's 28 now. And I thought to myself, here's a player that can play in any league in the world. Here's a player that's probably going to go to one of the big teams. And I heard not only do you guard that man, with your life, but also, as far as remuneration and taking care of him, he's paid with one of the best on the continent as well. This surely is one of your key marksmen.
Yeah, you're right. Aziz is one of the best players that we have in young Africans. He's young, like I said, 26, 27 now. He has all the qualities and potentials to be one of the best in Africa. And we definitely want to maintain our players. We want him to stay. We want him to play more because he has all the better environment for him to showcase his potentials and talent. Now he's the top scorer of the league in Tanzania. Now he's the best player in Tanzania compared to awards that are awarded on monthly basis. Actually, the month of March, he's the best player in the league, player of the month. But on the same, he also had a chance to play for his national team, which is Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
And he has all the call-ups, and he has been participating.
He was at the AFCON.
International games. Yeah, he was at AFCON. So for me, he has the best environment for him to showcase his potential. For me, it's going to be a crazy decision for him to move from Tanzania to go anywhere else, because we have seen a number of players moving from one club and to the other club, and things started falling. So we want to make him play for young Africans, showcase his talents, and we, are young Africans as well, can be able to pay the packages that he's going to be happy with. So
in Tanzania, young Africans can pay competitive rates to what an Al Ahly, Sundowns can play?
Never. We've never reached that level. Ahly, Sundowns are big boys. We're not even closer to them. But we have something good that attracts the players. Better environment, support from the leaders. I am the president of the club, but I'm very close to my players. Make sure that, sometimes it's not about money. It's about environment for you to do your job in a very good way, motivated way, and also people who can be able to care with your personal staff as well. So the way we live with our players, it's very different to the other big teams. You can have a lot of money from the big teams, but you don't have the love and support from the leaders, and that sometimes make a difference.
And that doesn't scare you, the fact that there's big money out there that can lure your players, particularly a player like Aziz?
You know what happened last year? I'll give an example. I had the best top scorer in CAF Confederation, Fiston Mayele. I had the best player who also was the top player and top scorer of the Tanzanian Premier League, Fiston Mayele. And Pyramids came, we discussed, and we managed to allow the player to go because they give him more than what we can do. But at the same time, we as young Africans gained something out of him. And now I've got the best team that goes to the quarterfinal. So for me, I would love to maintain my players, but when it reaches a point where there's no way you can stand on his way, let him go and in a very good way, pray for him, bless him, and definitely it's my work. I have to find the best replacement.
There was a lot being said about naivety when you took over the team, but I look at your record since taking over. I look at the fact that, it took Algiers, USM Algiers, to knock you out of the final. You made it to the final of the Confederation. I look at what you do in the league as well. Even at the moment when you're leading the league, you've done very well, fantastically so, as the president of this young team. And you as well, I look at, from your point of view, the presidential point of view, look to be very ambitious.
Yeah, honestly speaking, people were a bit hesitant when they saw a young boy taking over the club. At that time, I was 38 years of age, being a chairman of the club, which is 88 years of age, 50 years older than the chairman. So, and this is the first time that the club is accepting a young boy to run the club. So for me, it was an honor. But for me as well, in public, it was an honor. But personally, inside me, that was something, as how should I say it? It's something that there's a big demand on the performance that was required for me and for my club. So when I took over this position, there was a big demand internally to make sure that this club does better, and then make these people, fans and supporters, understand that they can also accept this young generation to run their club. So I did my best. Me and my executive committee, we sat, discussed all over, looking into the way of improving our club in terms of financial position. We have to make sure that the club is also stable financially, but also the fan engagement process there, whereby people, especially members and fans, feel that they're part of the club. But on top of that, we have to make sure that you get results on every game that you're playing. That is the bottom line. So by doing so, that was, secret behind the success. But also, being a president of the club now, I've been elected to be a chairman of the club, ACA, African Club Association. So for me, it's an honor to be a chairman of all the clubs in Africa, and I would love to share my small experience on how basically you can be able to raise the value of your club.
Speaking of raising value and fans, because these are the two things that you've mentioned now as cornerstones and the important factors in running a club. President, I have my love for football means the money that's in my pocket. I need to put it into the club that I support. I need to physically show up for my support. It happens. I've seen it only on the African continent. And I heard and I saw everybody, tweeting and responding when you guys did it. Why is it that a team that has got the support and enjoys packed stadiums like you do a lot of the times, why is it that when a competition like this comes to your country, to the stadiums, you allow people to come in for free? What is it about free entrances to stadiums when it's Champions League?
All right. It's a very good question, and, it's all about the right decision at the right time. For me, these members and fans, I want them to be part of this club. And, bringing them closer, they feel that they're part of this club. And sometimes it's not about money. Money, it's not everything that, makes these people love your club. If you're selling the ticket, I'll give an example. 40,000 seats. In that stadium, it's a 60,000 seater. Okay? Out of 60,000 seater, 40,000 is the popular seat. And that popular seat, you're selling it at $1.5 of a dollar. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about 40,000 seats multiplied by 1.5, you're talking about $60,000. I don't know, it's even less than that. You understand?
Yeah, I'm with you.
For me, that's a small amount of money compared to 60,000 stadium fully packed, celebrating and pushing their players to get results in the quarterfinal against the biggest team in Africa.
But then, President, are you saying that if you say, buy your tickets, let's get everybody paying for their seat, that you won't get 60,000? Because I would assume that the support for the club and the love for the club is going to be so overwhelming that they would want to come and support their club.
So, it's a two-way traffic. Sometimes, I'll give you an example of this specific game that we put popular stands on for free, okay? There were three conditions I'll put. Number one of our sponsors paid for that amount, for the entire members, for the entire seat, 40,000. So the club, we gained that. That's number one. Why did we able to do that? Why were we running into that? Because we played a game on Saturday night, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, Saturday night, and a night before Easter. So Sunday was Easter, so it was Easter Eve. And it was Ramadan. Most of the Muslims, when they break their fast around 6:30, they go to prayers around 8, and then most of them, they stay in the mosque, they pray. You see? So for me, if you do that calculations, you will feel like if you have people going to the mosque on Saturday evening, which is around 8, and you have a game at 9, that's number one. You have Christians that are going to the church for the Easter Eve, and the game is at 9. It's going to be ending at 11, an hour before midnight, and they need to commute to their home. For me, it will be very difficult to fill the crowd 100%. And I wanted that energy against Mamelodi Sundowns. What would I do? We approached our sponsor, and the sponsor said, okay, I'm going to pay for this. So only VIP A, VIP B, and VIP C were the tickets that don't sell. Then the popular stands was for free because we collected money from the sponsor.
So this is not a norm. This is not something that Younger does for Champions League. It's for selected games when things like this happen. I mean, it's not going to be often that you have a Champions League game, quarterfinal, during Ramadan, during the Easters.
Yes, this is a special case. That's why we did that. But we played Ahli. It was the biggest game on the group stage, and everyone paid for their seats.
And I asked this because
it's the same thing.
I asked this, number one, because like I said, of my love, I feel like you pay for your seat, but also because of the banter with the fans of Yanga and Sundowns, who always say, no, Sundowns could never fill their seats, etc., etc. Hence, I had to ask to say, do you have the same problems? But I've seen your league games, they get packed. You get the 40,000 minimum.
100%. We don't have the issue. We don't have any issue with fans. So it's all about the timings and what is the priority behind it.
I've seen a lot of fans that have arrived from Tanzania. Some are still coming in their numbers. Who's paying for that? Is it fans individually paying for them, or is the government or the team involved?
So now we have two groups of the fans who are visiting South Africa for the film. We have the one who are flying, which we have a big number that fly into from yesterday, actually, today and the day and today and tomorrow, day after tomorrow as well. Whoever that is flying for his own pocket. But the government also paid for 50 people to travel with a bus from Tanzania to South Africa. So there's one bus which is 48-seater, left Dar es Salaam yesterday, and these guys were driving from Dar es Salaam all the way to South Africa for the game, and that is paid 100% by the Ministry of Sports.
Oh, okay. President, I really do appreciate you having this conversation with us. Just one more thing that I want to touch on, because it's always been such a big question mark, particularly beginning of the season for many South Africans and the team that you support, Kaizer Chiefs. You were the president that was in charge at the time when Nasreddine Nabi was your coach. You parted ways with him. Firstly, I mean, we heard and we looked at his caliber of a coach, and he seemed to have been a very good coach. And you look at what he was able to achieve with you guys. Why would you part ways with a coach that seemed to be so good?
It was the end of the contract. Actually, we never parted ways for a termination manner or, let's say, cancellation of contract. No, it was the end of his contract, and it's about negotiation. And based on that negotiation, we couldn't be able to reach where he was looking at. And on the other side, he wanted something. The new challenges, and you mentioned that. It's very, very good. For us, we respect whoever that is in the team, and that's very important. And that we have our levels that we cannot exceed just because someone is demanding on that. So, talking about that, it wasn't parting ways on a cancellation mission. It was parting ways because his contract was coming to an end, and we couldn't be able to agree on the terms and conditions from both ends.
Nasreddine Nabi, in your books, President, a top coach?
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches, yes.
When you heard the rumors about Chiefs, did you think maybe a good, way for him to go, for them to go?
Yes, we started with, actually, we brought him from, he was for the season, and then he spent with us 2 full seasons, which he did very well, collectively with the rest of the technical staff and the players. And so for him moving from our club, we wished him all the best, and we wanted him to go anywhere and support him. So now he's in Morocco. We support him. Yeah, and we wish him all the best.
President, I really do appreciate your spirit. I appreciate your love for the game. I hear that in your younger days, although you never made it to professional football, you did kick a ball or two. I don't know if I believe it because I've seen those legs. I'm not sure if I believe that Kariako boy kicked the ball.
I will share with you my videos.
They always say any player with videos is not good enough. I know you're on the way to watching the game now. Are you taking your coach? Are you taking the players, or is it just you?
No. The coach is going for the program. They've got a training session at 7, so it's going to be myself and my few management that wanted to watch the game.
I saw a tweet from a younger fan who said, "Oh boy, Tembazwane is available for the second leg."
Tembazwane is one of the best players. I mean, I'm a total admirer of his caliber and his quality. It's going to be a tough game, but you also missed 3 good players in the first leg. So they also need to be careful. Tembazwane is coming, but we also have the best 3 players coming in.
Who did we miss? Who were the 3 players?
So we have the best midfielder called Hali Daucho, the Ugandan.
I know Daucho, yeah, Ugandan, yeah.
Yeah, so he missed the game. And then we have Yao Kwasi, the Ivorian right back, he missed the game. And then we have Pacome Zuzua, one of the best attacking midfielder, the Ivorian attacking midfielder. He missed the game. So we missed 3 good players on the first leg.
It sounds like it's going to be quite a game. You're going to be taking it to Sundowns. Sundowns, who you say are the best team on the continent at the moment, are going to be looking to make sure that they don't concede or lose the match. I can't wait for it. President, whenever you're around, we'd love to have you in the studio. When I'm in Tanzania, I'll definitely be hitting you up, and maybe I can get one of those VVIP seats, because the last time, I sat in those general ones, and what a vibe. I enjoyed every single minute of it.
Yeah, sure. So we have a derby close to second week of April, I think on 21st. I would love to invite you to come to Dar. Remember the first derby, we thrashed them 5-1. So just for you to understand, it's going to be a tough one, but please, I would love to host you in Dar es Salaam.
Because as we stand now, I think you're 5 points ahead, right? And you've got a game in hand in the league.
Sure.
So then the league is wrapped, surely, President, yeah? We can start celebrating.
We want to wrap it when we beat our rivals.
President, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, and all the best.
Engineer Hesi Said, younger president, speaking to us about all things African football.
Y'all ready? The Metro FM Music Awards 2024. Like to the future.
The nominees for Song of the Year: Oscar Mbo and KG Smalls, featuring Dear Son, Murder, and Mo Keys. Yes, God, the Mo Keys remix. Gamompela, featuring Baby SON, Tyler ICU, and Khalil Harrison, Dali. Tyler, Water. Kabza de Small and Mtunzi, featuring DJ Maporisa, Young Stunner, Sizwe Alekine, and Umtagati Kush, Imitandazo. Dala Tugzin, featuring Zaba and Sykes, Iplan. DJ Kent, featuring Mo T, Brendan Praise, Murder, and Tugzin. Horns in the Sun, the Tugzin remix. See You, featuring Tumelo ZA, DJ Maporisa, Nandipa 808, Sika RSA, and Tyrone D. Nike. Basi and Amos, featuring T-Man SA, Izenzo. Tuda and The Musical Chef, featuring Emo and Sipho Makutulela, Scootie's Nice. DJ Stoki, featuring Emo Mastogoze.
To vote, dial *120*. 45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2024.
Are you ready for an amazing night?
Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you want to be.
T's and C's apply.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
1842 on the mighty Metro FM. That was the president of Young Africans, known as Yanga, who was here to face Sundowns on Friday in the Champions League quarter-final match. They drew 0-0 away in Tanzania. They're here now. He mentions 3 players that he says, hey, don't worry, Tembazwane might be coming back. And he says this is one of the best players on the continent. But he's got his own trio that's coming back that wasn't available for that first game. That's who you should watch out for. Dushe, whom I know, of course, the Ugandan. You've got Kwasi as well as the Ivorian in Rahons, I think his name is, that are going to be available for this here match. Right now, though, let's switch focus a little bit and speak to one of our favorites, a friend of the room, Ashak Muhammad, Cape Regional Sports Editor at the Independent Media. Ashfaq, always great to have you, especially when it seems like South African teams are going to be doing best. Welcome to it.
Hey, Andy, man. Thanks for having me.
Listen, back-to-back victories for the Stormers against very strong opposition in the URC. I'm excited looking at what happened against Ulster.
Yes, of course, because it just seems like the Stormers are now hitting their straps at the business end of the season. You know, this weekend's another massive game. They're playing La Rochelle for the double defending champions of the Champions Cup, which is the premier tournament in Europe. You know, it's like the Champions League of rugby, where all the big names are playing. La Rochelle team is a really loaded side. So, you know, that's the next big step for the Stormers. They won the United Rugby Championship title in their first season in 2022 and made the final last year as well. So now it's time for them to really push on in the Champions Cup this time around.
I look at them and I think how strange it is, you know, to see a Stephen Kitchoff scrumming against his former teammate. And was it strange for you as well?
Yes, extremely, and it was great to see Frans van Leer, his own mate, giving him the shove there in that first couple of scrums, you know, and it seemed like Kitsi had enough, and he was suddenly substituted after a few minutes because his good friend Frans van Leer really gave it to him there.
No, he really did.
It was a pity that Frans didn't start, you know, and give him a whole game of trouble, but it was a good few minutes there. But still, yeah, strange to see Kitsoff playing against the Stormers. But it looks now that he could even be on his way back to the Stormers.
So I hear, and that's where I was going with it. I mean, how true is that?
Yeah.
Is he? I mean, how much truth is that? I mean, is he going back? Is the contract, you know, in pencil at the moment and waiting to be inked?
It was on the cards even before this latest report came out, because even when he left, John Dobson, the Stormers coach, said, don't be surprised if he comes back home. You know, and Kitsoff did this a few years ago when he went to Bordeaux in France. He stayed there for 2 seasons and he came back to the Stormers. You know, and his heart has always been here, born and bred Cape Townian from Somerset West, Grand side. You know, he's got a wife and they see their future here in Cape Town as well. So, you know, he was always going to come back at some stage. I just think that maybe we didn't expect it to be after 1 season. But yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise at all, you know, and the Stormers could certainly do it. They had a lot of injuries at Lucette Prop as well.
Talk to me about John Dobson. I mean, he won the URC 2 years ago. Last year, I think he reached the final, lost in the final. He is definitely the man to beat. He seems to have URC manuscript, perhaps. You know, he knows the blueprint of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just the Stormers, you see, they don't have a lot of big stars. They've got a few, like Damien Willemse, Frans van Hevel, we mentioned now, Mani Lubbock also. Achieva Daimani has been excellent for them. Dion Fourie as well.
But, they play like the sum of their parts. The team is greater than the sum of their parts. So they play together as a team and get the most out of their talent that they have. Whereas, we've looked at the Sharks now, having signed all these big name Springboks and a lot of big signings there. But they've been battling. They're 13th on the log in the URC. So, sometimes the big names aren't necessarily the way to go. But to be fair to the Sharks also, they've had a lot of injuries. Even Itzebeth was out for a while. Lukani was out previously. So, so it's about molding that team. And the Stormers, John Dobson's been part of the Western Province setup for about 15 years in total, from UCT days, graduating through to Western Province. So he knows these players and the whole setup in Cape Town, inside out. And that is why he's been able to mold this team together like this.
And Manny Liebach has grown so much since that World Cup when all eyes were on him and, there was so much pressure. I mean, you look at the last time these two played in the pool stages here, Stormers winning, but not only just that, but Manny Liebach being the difference.
Yeah, handling the pressure, and it was a pity that he missed those few kicks at the World Cup, and that's so Puller coming in for the last few games because Manny's a superb attacking player. He's got all the skills, and the Springbok coaches know that, and that is why they've selected him up to now, and they will continue to select him. And it was very encouraging to see the new Springbok attack coach, Tony Brown from New Zealand, saying recently at the press conference how he cannot wait to work with Manny because just of his skill set and ability to get a lot more out of that Springbok backline. So, but he can handle the pressure. He's shown it at the UFC level several times, last-minute kicks, like you mentioned, the La Rochelle game, the pool game in December, where he kicked that late kick over to win the game 21-20. So, the Stormers will be looking to him again to set the tone for him because La Rochelle is a really hard team to beat.
They are, but what do you do? Do you run at them and just, hope to outpace them, hope to bamboozle them? Or do you sit back when you do your team selection from the beginning and say, no, you know what, we're going to physically try and fight them, we're going to wait for them and try out-muscle them? What do you think the setup is from the get-go?
I think the Stormers need to stay true to themselves, which is to play an attacking style of rugby. That is what they want to do, that is what they enjoy. But also when you look at the challenge that's facing them, the La Rochelle Packers, they're stronger than most international test teams in terms of the makeup of their pack. Wolf Skelton, Eugenie Antonio, all these big French, Gregory Aldred, the superb France number 8. If you put all of that together, the Fijian flank there, Levani Botia, if you put all of that together into one team, it makes it really a tough task for any opposition. So why would you want to take that on when you don't have the same kind of, depth in your pack to try and go toe-to-toe and make it an arm wrestle? Of course, you have to win your lineouts and scrums. That goes without saying. But you wouldn't necessarily want to take the ball up and run straight into a Wolf Skelton who's 145 kilos and going to knock you back every single time. Then you'd rather try and shift the ball and make them get across the field to tire out those big La Rochelle forwards.
Do you see them winning this one?
They can. They've done it before. They know what to expect from La Rochelle. Obviously, a knockout game is very different, and the Stormers will have to play at their best, almost as like they did against Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago. Last week they battled a bit against Ulster in terms of Ulster's approach there and winning the breakdown battle. So if the Storms can sort that out, they definitely can beat La Rochelle.
Listen, hopefully at the butt end of it, you and I will have a conversation about how lovely the match was in celebration for the South African team. Always a pleasure to have you. A friend of the room is Ashak, and we love it when he comes on. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Andile.
Hey, yo, turn the beat up a little bit. Get ready for a radio revolution that transcends boundaries and elevates your senses. From chart toppers to timeless classics, we got it all.
It makes me wonder how I keep them going.
This is more than radio.
You got me working.
This is Metro FM. We define the pulse of your musical journey. Don't just listen. Immerse yourself in the ultimate audio experience.
My flow, my show.
Where the beat never fades and the entertainment never ends.
Started like this, son.
Turn it up and let the magic unfold. Metro FM. It's where you want to be. Y'all ready? The Metro FM Music Awards 2024. Flight to the future.
The nominees for Best R&B. Fila Lala, Call Me. Nanette and Blackie featuring BGRZ, Talk to Me.
You don't give me stress, baby, girl, you let my mind flow free. Even though I get busy, I still make time.
Tyler, Water.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Tandazo Gaja, Into You. Nontogozo Mkhize featuring Nomfundo Mo, Lose Strong.
To vote, dial star 120 star 45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2024.
Are you ready for an amazing night?
Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. T's and C's apply.
Visit betway.co.za and never miss out on the non-stop action. Get way more with Betway.
I see the Sundowns match coming up in just a few. I'll read out the starting 11 to you for that match. But first, league football is back, and it's back with a bang. But wait, it does not stop there. Some scintillating ties to set up an incredible week of sport fixtures coming up in thick and fast, which means more chances to win. Visit betway.co.za for all the amazing promotions. The action never stops with Betway.
Visit betway.co.za to bet on every unforgettable sporting moment. Get way more with Betway.
Right, here we go. I just want to read this out to you. I just want to find it now. I had it just here. The Sundowns, the 11 that they've put out is possibly none of these players are possibly going to play on Friday, Timmy. Yeah? You got Onyango in goals, Mdunyelwa Mashego Mvala, Obas, you got Mkhulise Mabue, Mbule, the chef, Esquivel, Matthews, and Sereno. I mean, Sundowns can literally rest all of these players, and they probably will come the weekend. You know, maybe you'll get a Mashego and Mvala playing, but for most of these players, come Yanga this Friday, will probably be on the bench. And that's a depth that the president of Young Africans was speaking about. That's the depth. But also, you know, it's been one of those on this show where I once spoke about how we fans support. And guys, I say this because I do the same. I do the same. You know, I used to make sure that at least once a season, I save up. You know, I save up whatever it is I can. I stinge myself things that I like. I go out less so I can save money. And once a season, I fly all the way to Manchester to go watch Manchester United play. Not because, you know, it's easy for me. No. You know, I've got 4 kids. But because that's what I believe. I believe if you draw pleasure from anything, you put your money and you support it, because that's how that pleasure runs. It's the same way I feel about those that watch SABC. If you're an SABC viewer, especially, I mean, everybody should be doing it, but especially if you enjoy the content and you watch the content, even if it's that one show that you enjoy, you should be paying your TV license. You should be. You pay for things that take money to make. And that's where I was going with it. To say how we show appreciation for those that get out there and do their thing. And you know what? Maybe today I can concede one thing, Timmy. And maybe today I can concede one thing. And that thing was perhaps, and not even perhaps, the timing of that rant of mine was ill-timed. Because it was just after the AFL win. You know, that was ill-timed. I accept that. I accept that to all the Sundowns fans. I fully accept it. But the point, I don't. So the Young Africans president coming on and saying, look at the measures as to why we had to do that. And he lists them, understandably so. He says, but every other game, there's a minimum of 40,000 people that pay to come and watch us. Not opening that can again. I'm not. You know? And then there's the Nabi case. We've wanted to know about Nabi for such a long time. There's Mum. I can tell you now that off air, we speak to Nabi's people all the time. They just won't come on air with it because they're saying they don't want to talk about Kaizer Chiefs. But there you have it from a president who had the man. He won the league. He came second in the Confederations Cup, saying, this is a top coach. This is a top coach. He was sad to lose him, but he couldn't keep him simply because he just couldn't afford him anymore. The contract ran out, and he couldn't afford to keep him anymore. Timmy there in the background saying he was asking for cell phone numbers. Let's hear from you. You heard the conversation with the president, 086-000-2160, and your voice notes. We have plenty of them. Let's play some, Malcolm. You can send them on 060-552-7303.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 002160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Brandile, bona, Peter Mchim from Tembisa. I was working. Jimu ko makau buletse ar andile ole para ka nnete me bra ole para ka nnete o working chairman I know o humble that guy o humble wa bontsha hore is owner o responsible and we bone gore it's not a ntwe le gore it was done purposely, it was a mistake. Understand? Anyway, we're looking forward to the game Friday. Thank you and stay safe, me bra.
Thank you.
Andile, Nicholas here in Cape Town.
Nick, been a while.
Yeah. I just want to say to this gentleman, they came here to meet the big team in Africa, and I'm supporting Sundowns, but I so wish that they give the supporters a good game that the supporters will be paying for to watch in our next match. Good luck to both teams. It's all about supporters. It's all about the winning team. Thank you.
Andile, good evening, my brother, and all Metro FM listeners around the globe. Good evening to your guest, the president of Yanga. I've got a very disappointing message to them. I can say to them, Mamelodi Sundowns are winning on Friday. I can say to them, there is no excuse, my friend. This is where your journey ends.
I appreciate you. Let's take your calls now. David is out in Guruleni. David.
Thanks for taking my call. I just want to remind you that you missed something there. They suspected a revolt of executive staff. Though, okay, let me just forget that. I want to come back to something that quite disturbed me. I know people have been crying about referees. But when experienced referees come to the analyst and poke fun on the game, it's so painful. I want to ask you, frankly, Mr. Andile.
Please.
Did people miss a foul by Weber on Mteto on the game between Pirates and Spokane? The man was pulled down defending, and not even one analyst mentioned it. So I want to just, for now, I lost interest.
I'll tell you what, David. What I'm going to do is, because you're a regular on this show, I think
the way he interpreted the new laws that he invented himself without giving us the dates and so forth. I like your program on Monday, but when we have such issues, let it meet a referee, because it's allowed to be to make it human to make errors. But when analysts and people like Mr. Songwane come and make a fun out of such things, some of us, it makes us to lose interest.
David, I'll tell you what. Timmy, please take David's number on Monday, David, because I hold myself responsible for anything and everything I say here, but my contributors as well. They are responsible for things that come out on this air. So I'd love to put you in touch. We're going to call you on Monday, and I want you and Mr. Hlungwane to have this conversation.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Faith, you're going to excuse me. I'm terribly sorry to be. I know you guys, I'm always on time. You know this. Max, very quickly, I'm going to get my butt kicked. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Max is out of here. Max, I tried my best. I tried. Hey, Faith.
Hey, Andile.
You're sporty spice today.
I am very sporty
They used to
spicy.
say that the way that the Spice Girls were curated
Yeah.
was in and around every man. So what they did is they took the 5 girls, yeah? Was
Scary
Posh
Spice, Scary Spice,
Scary,
Posh Spice,
Baby.
Baby Spice, Sporty Spice, and
Who was
Ginger.
Emma? Ginger Spice.
Ginger
yes.
Spice.
So what they
So
used to
revealing
say,
our age, eh?
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, there we
so
go.
what they said was in creating, because bands and groups are created.
Mhm.
So in creating the Spice Girls, they wanted to appeal to every single man. So there was a Spice Girl
For a
every
man.
man, regardless of what your taste is. So hence there's a Baby Spice, there's a Ginger Spice for those people that like a little bit spicy, and that was a colored girl, right?
Well, she was more redhead, yeah, but yeah, she was very.
Oh, Ginger, no,
she
what was
already
Scary Spice? I mean,
Scary Spice
so that
was Mel
for
B,
those
so she
that
was
have
like
a little bit of a.
interracially
Then there was
mingled.
Posh for those that like
A little bit of
think
a
about it,
girl
whatever
with
it
a high
is you
heel.
like.
That is a Baby Spice. What would a Baby Spice be? Because it goes
Ooh,
down dark.
come on now.
Dark,
Come on
dark
now.
hole.
So which
Yeah.
spice are you?
Well, I'm dressed like a sporty spice today because I am wearing a
But
a
I don't think
tracksuit.
you're a sporty
I'm not
spice.
What kind of spice girl do you think I am?
Ooh,
Tell me.
I'm gonna be.
tell me,
Oh
tell me.
man, I'm
You're
gonna be a
allowed to
little
mix,
bit.
You're allowed to mix a little bit of Spice Girls, but what
No,
kind
but
of
I
a
mean, I
Spice
want
Girl
to,
do you think I am?
gee whiz. I think because of, and I think it's more because of what the spices went on to become, that I think, and maybe more of what I think about myself, because I think I'm this spice's husband. So I think of you as Posh.
You wouldn't be wrong.
Okay.
I am a god of poshness. I would be probably posh. You absolutely. Oh, but this Spice Girl's husband. What am? Just know that I do love rings that are big. Hey, I do love my rings big. So, start saving. Are you
What do
gonna
you
ask-
have happening on the
Thank
show?
you, because you're making me nervous. This evening, we are continuing a conversation we started yesterday. Remember yesterday I told you that we're going to speak after 8 about the state of human settlements, especially following shack fires in parts of the Western Cape. We had different stakeholders in the conversation, including the former project administrator in the office of the city of Cape Town, who said that there was no plan by the city of Cape Town to help when it comes to those thousands of people displaced by fires. We had then the finance MMC of Cape Town call into our show to say, nope, Faith, we've got an answer. We ran out of time, so we said to them, we're going to continue the conversation because ultimately they have to explain. We brought on the MMC for human settlements in the city of Cape Town to explain to us what their plan is after people have been displaced by shack fires, especially in parts of the Western Cape, because we know it happens and it's just happened as well. So we're going to continue with that just for a little bit to get a conclusive answer for all of you. And then there are reports that say that the South African National Defence Force contingent based in the Democratic Republic of Congo has no logistical support, and the entire operation appears to be a mess. We're in conversation with the SANDF spokesperson. We're also in conversation with the DA Shadow Minister of Defence, who lodged the very same complaint to find out what's happening in the DRC. Another thing that is scary when it comes to law enforcement, the only police station in Vuwani, and please, people in Vuwani, please call in this evening because this one is about you. Limpopo is, in Vuwani, Limpopo is yet to be completed nearly 12 years after it was first built.
Oh, okay.
A police station, the only police station in Vuwani, Limpopo, is yet to be completed nearly 12 years after it was first built. We're in conversation with Pop Crew this evening. We're in conversation with the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee, Portfolio Committee on Policing, about what exactly is happening. After 8, I think this one is going to be a learning opportunity for all of us, because today we're talking about autism.
Oh, it's a subject I know so much on, because
Autism.
at some point, and there's, I don't know if because of awareness around it, whoever's done it has done a lot of job. I just feel like there's a lot more children born with autism and living with autism now more than ever.
You're right.
I actually thought my son was autistic.
Really?
Yeah, we thought he was born autistic, and Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital, the most amazing facility that I'd ever gone to, and a big shout out to the doctors there, who did an amazing job in testing my son thoroughly, seeing injections and seeing him being put to sleep so that they could look at his brain and all of that was some of the most painful things I've ever gone through as a father, but absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're having. And thank goodness for, the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital, for example, for being that extra cautious. But a lot of times it either gets misdiagnosed or there's a lot of stigma that is attached to it. So children then are left in closed rooms. You've heard stories where the parents would lock the child up and chain the child up because they would think that the child is either demon possessed or the child is crazy, basically. And there's a lot of stigma that is attached to autism. This evening we're learning about autism.
I appreciate it. It's going to be a great conversation, to all parents out there. It's something that you definitely should be tuned into because you just never know. You just think, and we take that for granted. When we were growing up, there wasn't such. It was just, unjalo. Siyamazi unjalo. But there's actually an issue with the child. So have a listen to their conversation because children live in very successful lives even though they live with autism. It's exactly 6, about to go 7 after the hour 7. My name is Andy Lengube. To the Young Africans president, hi, ole para, pela, nanzomi.
Let the good times roll. Turn it up. It's Metro FM, the biggest commercial radio station in the land. We won't stop. Metro FM is committed to a code of conduct as outlined by the Broadcasting Complaints Commissioner of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech or violence or explicit sex. If you believe that our programming